Hi, good evening everybody. In this video, we're going to discuss Jack Eichel as he has now talked about filing a grievance if there's no trade within the next 2 weeks. Coming up. All right, so Jack has put out the ultimatum of ultimatums. Anyway, bottom line, I get it. He wants this whole thing resolved. I get it. I understand. Who doesn't at this point? We all do. Every hockey fan and God's green earth wants this, done and fixed and gone with. But Jack has made it clear that he's basically out of patience, and he's talking about filing a grievance if nothing happens within the next 2 weeks, if the Sabres can't get him moved. So there was an article that I wanted to show you, and I will get that clip up there. Okay. You see the headline, Eichel considering a grievance. As per Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman, he reports that if in the next 1 to 2 weeks Eichel is not traded, he believes the player may decide to file a grievance and force a decision or a trade. During the 32 Thoughts segment on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday, Friedman explained, "I'm not saying it's going to be as quick as the next 24 to 48 hours, but I think we are getting to the point where the grievance could come down to force a kind of move." Next clip. Okay, Eichel has been collecting medical opinions on the disc replacement surgery in an effort to both convince the Sabres they are wrong about forcing him to get fusion surgery, but also to build a case in the event he needs to take this to an outside party. Now, be prepared for some more drama, okay? Be prepared for some. This is not going to end. I mean, he's obviously he's pulling a Leonard 2.0 quietly, a little more properly, I would say, than what Leonard would do. But he is basically threatening the Sabres to move him. I've had enough. Move me, or I'm filing a grievance. And the CBA is clear, folks. I'll tell you right now, it's going to fall on deaf ears. But it doesn't really fall on deaf ears, because what it does is it creates a bad look for the NHL. And this is the problem with something like this. Now, let me also, something on the podcast, another podcast that I was listening to with Friedman in regards to Eichel. This was interesting. This was an interesting question that was thrown his way. I listened to the whole thing, but this was the question that stood out for me. Now, Friedman was questioned on the outside, basically on the dynamic of the Eichel situation. I called it. Okay, so the question is, do you think this is forcing the NHL to look at the CBA and say, maybe we need to change this, meaning that players can make up their own minds what they want to do? Friedman answers, "No, I don't. As a matter of fact, I have teams say to me, they are sympathetic to Eichel, but we do have to have some control over these players that we're paying $80 million to, that they can't do things we don't want them to do. We have to have approval." So I agree with that. I don't think players should be able to make $10 million a year and they're just going to decide to go have a surgery that could ruin their career and their ability to play. Potentially. I'm not saying this will. Eichel might have this surgery and everything might be okay. But what if it doesn't? What if he comes back and after 2 or 3 games he's injured again with the neck after having the disc replacement? What happens then? We're stuck paying the guy $10 million because he made a bad decision all year long? No, it's wrong. No, I agree with the team on this one. And I would say that about any other player in the NHL, because we can't give the players all the power. We just can't. I get it's his body and it should be his decision, but I also get that the CBA is in place for a purpose. If they're going to make $10 million a year, the team has to have some sort of say. And this is a rare occurrence. Tell me the last time you guys have seen something like this in the NHL. You haven't. It's a real bad situation all the way around. It's bad for the Sabres too. But the Sabres should not give in to this at all. Let him go and file his grievance, because it's going to fall on deaf ears. and they'll have to abide by what the CBA says. Even if they get the independent arbitrator involved, and it could be messy, yes, but he won't win. He just won't win because the law is written out in the CBA. Sorry, Jack, but it's in the CBA. You know it. Don't waste your time. Quit begging. Let the team get ready and try to make a deal eventually. And there's teams out there that have no issue whatsoever. Some have no issue whatsoever. And I'm hearing it's like a higher split of teams that are against it. There's teams that are against it and agree with what the Sabres are doing because they wouldn't do it either. So Jack could have been on another team and still pulled this same stunt. He could have. He really could have. And it would still fall on deaf ears, I'm guessing. You know, maybe they would have given in to some peer pressure, some other teams. Adams isn't going to. And Adams doesn't have to. He's not doing anything illegal. He's not doing anything wrong. He is looking out for the asset that they're paying the biggest salary in Buffalo Sabres history to. What's he supposed to do? Say, oh my God, everybody's going to get upset. I better let him have his surgery? No. What if Jack's wrong? For opposing fans, what if Jack's wrong? What if? People say he's not. Okay, prove it to me. Show me. Show me an NHL player that's had this successful surgery and went on to fulfill his contract after. Show me one. You can't. No. The Sabres have to hang tough. They're going to. And also, there was something else in that other podcast that I heard that Adams was basically saying under no conditions they're retaining any salary, guys. It's under no conditions. We're not retaining salary. So teams that think maybe we'll hold a few million and let Jack go to your team and get 100 points for you while we're paying part of his salary, it's not happening. It's just not happening. We're willing to take back salary, but we're not willing to hold salary. No. Why should we? I had a video on this a while ago. We're not. So that's out the window. It's not happening. This is going to get messy again because Jack realizes that nothing's happening. Nothing's happening till we get a trade done. Till we get a trade done. You know, if he could have just maybe understood that when you sign a contract, you're agreeing that you're going to play with that team no matter what. Okay? I know nowadays the players think they have all these rights. Okay? And I agree the players should have gotten more rights compared to what the owners used to do to them, exploited them years and years ago. They did. Players were exploited once upon a time. But now, franchises are being exploited by players, big name players, and this is the problem. There's no happy medium. I really wish the NHL would get it right. I mean, this thing about they're able to have 20% of the cap as their salary, not that anybody has that, but you know what I mean? It gives the option to open it up. I think it should be 10%, should be the max. Should be the max. $8 million should be the max salary in this league. And that way, every team can bring in all their youngsters and have more cap room and figure things out better instead of just having the top tier rich and then you got the top tier not making anything but league minimum on every team. If you look, there's tons of teams that do this. Anyway, he'll do what he has to do, and when it's to no avail, it's going to dawn on him he doesn't have the power, or he doesn't hold the cards in this. We do. I said this last year. We hold the power here, no matter what he says. And people say, okay, here's another thing you might hear. What if he retires and then comes back? We still hold his rights, guys. Remember that part, okay? People think that, let's say Jack retires this year, goes and has a surgery, and then comes back a year later saying, I'm coming out of retirement. You can't. We still hold his rights. That's the way that works, just so you know. All right, folks, that's it. That's it for this video. I got another one to make for you. And I just wanted to update you with this because Jack in the Box is going down Pandora's box again, and there's going to be some drama, but we'll just deal with it and move on again, and Adams will figure it out. Because remember, folks, remember, Adam said it, we're in control of the situation. Okay? All right, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.